Atheists are walking contradictions.
Oh, and there I thought atheists were people with a single thought on a single idea that can't really be contradictory by its very nature. That being that they don't think that other people's claims on Big G are particularly convincing. But no, they are actually literally contradictory people. They're both handsome and ugly. They are both famous and unknown. And they are both good at the sex. But also, the last time I tried, I f***ed it up so bad, I got my dick stuck inside a cabinet. I mean, they are that, not me. And that's definitely not still stuck in there because I'm too embarrassed to call anyone about it. No.
Everything they do and say contradicts their conviction that God does not exist.
Oh, mate, no, that's not anything even resembling a coherent point. Come on. Atheism is not a conviction about anything. It's a thinking claim. I'm not convinced that there's a God because all the evidence and arguments I have ever heard in that regard all fall completely flat. I don't have a conviction that God does not exist, but that's because I'm not an idiot who thinks I or anyone could know such a thing. Just because you likely have the opposing conviction to that doesn't mean that's how everyone else thinks. And if you don't, then why are you claiming that others do? Already barely into this, and you've already screwed it up twice. This is going to be a fun one, isn't it?
Stick with me for a moment and I'll explain why this is the case.
Oh, I cannot wait, mate. I think we're in for a wild ride here, folks, so do me a favour, get your illicit beverage of choice, grab a pile of snackerinos, and tie yourself to a chair so that you don't fall out of it from how shocked you're going to be by his big brain points about atheiblobs. And you know what? While you're doing what I say, like and subscribe and all that shit. And call your mum. It's been like a month and she's worried about you. I mean, you watch Sir Sick for f***'s sake. Things obviously aren't going well. Christocentric philosophy. That sounds like an exclamation, like you hurt yourself on a piece of random furniture and shout, Christocentric philosophy! It happened again! No, seriously, it happened again. I wasn't even trying to do a sex this time. What the hell is even happening right now? You know what? That fortune teller was right. I am a fucking idiot.
First, we should note that atheists do not believe that there is a sovereign God who created and sustains the universe.
That is finally an accurate thing, but they also do not believe there is a lusty God who bangs various folks and leaves a litany of progeny throughout the land, and whose wife has a habit of punishing those children for the existence they didn't ask for. And they also tend not to believe that there's a guy with a lightning hammer who rides a chariot drawn by goats. They don't believe a lot of things, all of them related to deities, because that's what fucking atheism is. Not about your specific ridiculous ideology, it's about the lot of them. Also, I just want to make one thing clear. If you are talking about people and you're using the philosophical definition to specifically describe what they think or how they use words, that's just fucking dishonest and more than a little bit stupid. Just wanted to slip that in there just in case.
On their view, the world is irrational in the sense that there is no rational will ultimately responsible for the events that occur in history.
First off, that's not what rational means. You don't require a will, rational or otherwise, for things to make sense. That's fucking dumb. The universe makes sense regardless. And you saying that it need God to do so is just a baseless assertion on your part. And secondly, of the events that occurred in history, no. Even by God and or the Bible standards, that's not how that works. Unless, of course, you're saying that the fall of man, original sin, casting out of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, and the subsequent pain and suffering that happened to humanity, at least according to Bible claims, was all God's plan from the beginning when, well, yeah, that's exactly how it's written. God is the bad guy of his own story, obviously.
In other words, there is no rational plan according to which the events of history proceed. The world we experience was not predetermined or preconceived.
Again, according to a lot of things from your guy's side, that should be true. I mean, ask so many crispy bacons, how do they explain evil? And you'll get some slack-jawed, brainless response of, well, you foolish atheists. It's because God gave us free will. Fnar, fnar, fnar. And the fact is, free will is completely incompatible with determinism. You know, a universe that is planned out to every minor detail. The two cannot coexist. God either knows what everyone is going to do, or he doesn't, and thus has no agency over anything he claims. To the point where he doesn't even need to exist.
The implication of this is that every fact that is instantiated, every event that occurs, is new.
New? Honestly, I'm starting to think that you don't know how words work, or what they mean, to something as simple as the word new, which is kind of meaningless on a universal scale. And instantiated? I can't figure out what you think that means, but every fact that is instantiated is gibberish, as far as I can tell. Instantiate means using examples to demonstrate an abstract concept, like whiskey and wine both instantiate the idea of drunkenness, or something like that. Then there's the programming version, I'm not even going to try that, but no. Stop using words you don't understand. But then again, that would mean you would have to stop talking, so...
New in the sense that it exists for the very first time.
Okay, and what would be wrong with that, necessarily? I mean, if we're going new, any particular arrangement of atoms is, at least statistically speaking, pretty much always going to be new. Like, even under the God concept. So most facts and events, and by facts I'm assuming you mean things that happened and not, say, a concept like gravity, they are just things that are various arrangements of atoms at any given moment in time. That's the same even if there is a God.
If there were a rational, exhaustive plan that preceded the facts of the world, then they would not be new, since they would exist first and foremost as part of this exhaustive plan, even before they are actualized in the temporal realm.
Right, I had to let that play out because what the hell? Is that you, Jordan, of Spirit Science fame? The That was some top quality word salad. You could serve that shit in a Michelin-style restaurant and win f***ing awards. But where to start? So, if there were plans for the everything, then nothing would be new. That, of course, doesn't make sense. Just because you have a plan for a thing doesn't mean that when you enact the plan, the thing isn't a new thing. That's not how words work. Did this guy eat a damned word of the day calendar and now thinks he's gained all of its powers of explaining words, and thus his new versions of them are correct? So f***ing confused.
But that cannot be the case given atheism, so every fact is new.
Okay, so what? I mean, I'm not even agreeing, but even if it's true that all facts are new, as meaningless as that statement is, how does that make me not buying your claim of a God boy a contradiction to anything? I mean, I know this will blow your mind, but the universe having a set path that it is destined to follow would not necessitate a God, right? Atheism is completely compatible with a deterministic universe. It just wouldn't have an intelligence behind it. That's because atheism is not a claim on determinism or on a lot of things. It's a fact about how you think on a very, very specific subject. That's it. You know, I'm starting to think this guy really doesn't know how words work.
And if every fact is new, it follows that every fact is a brute fact. It is a brute fact in the sense that it is isolated from every other fact.
As I understand it, a brute fact is something that has no other fact supporting it. A fundamental fact, if you will. Again, you're wrong. Shocking, I know. He's been just so on point so far. Every fact being new doesn't stop other facts being connected to them, unless you mean something extra stupid, like all facts are new all the time, when I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with that, as it doesn't f***ing mean anything. Facts can be new when they happen, but stuff doesn't remain new forever, because that's not what new means. Of course, after being new, something is eventually not that anymore. And some facts are definitely newer than others, especially if you mean it in a historical sense, which I can only assume you do, since you keep bringing it up.
It is isolated from every other fact because there is nothing that relates it to any other fact. Its actuality is a unique phenomenon that has no place in a larger plan or system.
Categorically incorrect by the simple fact that reality exists and works as it does. Again, the problem you seem to be having is not that this is impossible without a God, but that you cannot conceive of why things could be this way without one. It's a problem, ironically, of a lack of imagination. Yeah, a lot of things cannot be currently explained with science, but that does not make God the only explanation. And as much as that truly is an absolutely imaginary concept, in my opinion, the fact that it's the only one you're willing to, or perhaps able to come up with, speaks more to your mind than it does to mine.
The atheist believes that the world is composed of facts of this nature.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Why do you refuse to stop being so wrong? The atheist believes many things about the nature of reality. The atheist could believe that the universe is comprised of individual unconnected facts, sure, but the atheist could also believe that the universe isn't real, strictly speaking, and is simply a simulation running on an inconceivably powerful computer, or at least an analogue thereof. The atheist could also believe that the universe is entirely formed in a way that seems to insist God, but further inspection shows that it simply doesn't, and that some other concept is what causes that appearance. Or the atheist could believe that the universe is made up of an infinite lattice of invisible f***ing spaghetti. There's many things that the atheist could believe, because atheist isn't a set of beliefs. It's one that only partly informs any other belief, and most certainly doesn't limit it to one, but allow for many possible beliefs in that regards. What a shock that a YouTube theist wouldn't know that.
It is this irrational world the atheists believe we live in. So it is this irrational world that atheists seek to know, understand, and make intelligible.
The scientific ones, sure, but don't you find it strange that they manage that, and at no point do they need to fall back on the theist favourite of God done did it? Even when they don't currently have an explanation for something, instead of throwing their hands in the air and giving up, they still prod and poke and push, till maybe they do find out how the everything works. And you might say, well, that's because God made the world do that. But I would say, prove it. So far, everything you claim is just that, a claim. Everything that I would claim in regards to reality will be something that I can go and prove, or can be disproven if I'm just wrong. One of those ways of understanding the world is better than the other. And hint, it ain't yours. But that's only because yours doesn't actually achieve anything. Well, nothing that we actually want.
Whenever the atheist speaks, thinks, or argues, he is presupposing that he can make intelligible assertions about the world.
And whenever you speak or quote-unquote think, you are presupposing that you even know what the f*** you are talking about. And yet, people do presuppose that. You presuppose that. Anyone who tries to communicate ever has to. Otherwise, why the f*** would they bother? What an absolutely staggering nothing of a sentence that was. I was wrong. You are actually worse than spirit science. At least that guy knows that his stuff is out there bullshit. You actually think you're making good points that are facts about reality, and well, no, you're not.
So the atheist believes two things: that the world he inhabits is the way it is, not in virtue of the will of a rational being, and that he can predicate intelligibly about this world.
Again, you are not understanding what atheism is. Atheism is a rejection of a claim. It's more, I don't know, than this is how things are, shut your mouth. That's more the realm of theism. It really is just a different outlook. There's a reason people find it super annoying when it's compared to religion as a religion. Because anyone making that comparison really doesn't grasp what they are talking about. The old adage of atheism is like the hobby of not collecting stamps really is as accurate in that regards as you can get. I do not do a religion, and any worldviews I hold aren't necessarily anything to do with atheism itself. It seems so simple to me, but obviously there's something you guys are missing, and I'm not convinced there's any way to help you, if you're so seemingly unwilling to help yourselves, and instead choose to constantly try to redefine atheists as something that they're not.
But these two beliefs are mutually exclusive, landing the atheist in inevitable self-contradiction.
Translation. These two beliefs that I've given to atheists carte blanche, apropos of nothing, make them sound the big dumb, and I am the big smart for pointing out this thing that I have no reason to believe or say is a real thing. And I am not a ridiculous horse person who needs to maybe go outside and actually talk to a humans before making idiotic internet videos that make me look silly. And even if what you said about the athi-blabs was true, you're still wrong, because you can believe God not real and talk about it, and look, oh, it worked. Me, I'm the shocked. Just because you think Jihad does the real does not make it so. Just because you think he did the rules does not make it so. And if you want me to believe that it is so, you have to prove it. And oh, look at that. You f***ing can't. I wonder why.
To make assertions about the world, the atheist requires a system of concepts. One cannot say anything about anything without a system of concepts.
Okay, but bear with me now. Those concepts were invented by humans and not God. Because, and get this right, God was also invented by humans. Shonk, I know. but everything you know about the universe was either an invention of or a discovery made by other humans, except for whiskey. That was invented by worthwhile people who were amazing, so clearly couldn't possibly be the humans. That doesn't mean it was God, though. I'm thinking some kind of species of sentient garbage bags. Like I said, something better than humans.
You cannot talk about trees without the concept of leaves or barks or roots or plants or the color green or a host of other individuative concepts.
That's so funny because of course you can. I mean, I don't know if you're meaning to say that you need them all, but you really don't. And what's funniest is that guy seems to not know that trees can come in colours other than green, which is just remarkable and a microcosm of why this guy is so goddamn funny to listen to. Well, apart from the overbearing confidence of it, that is kind of grating after a while.
In talking about or thinking about anything, one's assertions will take the general form X is Y, where X is the particular thing being talked about and Y is some concept.
Right, let's give an example. You are a theist, and you are also thick as fuck. And to further expand, we can also add because Z. And the Z in this case is because you are convinced you have knowledge that you don't have and insist your interpretations upon the world, making you sound like a total dumbass. See? Words are fun.
So a system of concepts is required to talk about or think about the world. But concepts are peculiar in that they are timeless and therefore not subject to change.
Nonsense. Concepts are changed all the time, mostly based on our understanding of them, but also because some things do change. There's a reason why the concepts in the Bible are so staggeringly out of date. Surely, if they came from God, they should indeed be timeless. But even the most staunch Bible humper doesn't really follow all of them, because they don't keep up for very obvious reasons. Things have changed. Society today is almost unrecognizable from societies thousands of years ago. And not to mention their locations. This kind of static thinking is exactly why you are failing to grasp even simple and obvious concepts. Maybe try, I don't know, thinking. No, sorry, I knew it was asking too much the moment I fucking said it.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstar Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the